right? We were talking about it, and John had texted me 330-450-7625. I think I have this right. But he says we tip our pizza driver about $10 to $15 every time. That's a lot. I feel as if I'm a pretty good tipper. And it's the eyes of servers when they pick up the thing and they're walking away from the table that kind of tells me. I've served, so I try to be good about it. There are times where I'm probably not as great about it as others, and I may have stiffed somebody in my 10 years living here. I doubt very highly it's happened all that often. I try to pride myself on it. Although maybe I got to stop. I don't tip a pizza driver $10 to $15. I've done it. I don't think that's necessarily my standard. I'm more likely to tip a $10 tip while I'm sitting down. And it's just like 5 cents, whatever. And then sometimes I look, I'm like, dude, that's getting like 40% of what I just paid to eat here. It's like, whatever.
Whoa.
And I've always said this about me. If I'm working and making money,
my goodness, what is that?
I don't care about my money.
It's not
that way. I've told you before. I think that a lot of the people in Hollywood, the actors and the singers,
I'm worried it might be.
That's why they are the way they are. It does come from a place of guilt, initially. Of, I can't believe I'm being paid this kind of money to do this. Are you kidding me? These people are out here working hard, right? And like, there's some of that. It's like, oh, all right, let's do this and do that. Maybe do we need a border? And like I think that's how you end up getting to some of those ideas. Is from a place of realizing that you have it pretty good and that other people should have it pretty good, right? But 10 to 15 sounds high, especially these days, as I'm willing to bet, like a lot. I just talked about how great some of the local pizza chains are, right? And they are. They're all awesome. All of them are great. And most of them are on the apps. And so you can use one of those apps to order the food, which of course there's a service fee to do that. So you start tipping $10, $15 on top of that, you're at a pretty healthy price for
We're 10
pizza,
minutes away.
Luckily for me, I live very close
a couple minutes
to one of the best of the local chains that has you can go in, you can sit down, there's a patio, there's and so you can go get pizza, have a beer, watch the guards, and then go home, which is what I do. That's most of the time if I get pizza, that's what I'll do. I'll go there and do that. But you're still tipping a server there. At that point, I have no problem with
it.
You'll
get used to it.
A lot of people would like to see it go away and think it's, corporate America skipping out on paying their employees. And, there's definitely an angle of that.
I'd like to try and move out this way.
I know a lot of servers who will tell you, dude, I wish people who didn't work for tips would shut up about this because they're going to take away tips and then they're going to pay us $15 an hour and then I'm going to make less money.
This is also what I was thinking.
It is true. Had they done that where the last bar I worked at, I would have walked out. You would have cut my pay in half by, I don't know, I have to run the numbers, but by 50%, if not more. For some reason, man, where I worked, it's like the money flew over that bar. It was a performance venue, and we were lucky because a lot of venues, if you notice, when people go to Rocket Mortgage, you don't feel like I'm tipping there. That doesn't feel like a bar to you. It doesn't feel like a venue to you. It feels like something different. Now with tipflation, I'm sure people are doing it, but initially, I was serving at places like that too, and you could see about half. And so there's a lot of people who work for tips who don't want to see the system change because of how much money they're making. I don't think it's the bulk of people, but it is a lot of them. It is one of the reasons why a similar system is why I left that last tip job. I was working there while working here.
Factory Street.
And I did it because I enjoyed it. I wanted to spend more time of my weekends here, so I ended up quitting. But one of the reasons why is there were multiple points of sale in that establishment.
I want colorful.
But if you were good at what you did,
yellow,
the lobby, because that's where the money was. With the venue and everybody else, that's where the money got made, is in that lobby. And so we would see the schedule come out, and certain people would never
it's yellow.
But not really yellow.
But they started to complain because rumors started to go through the building how much bartenders were making in the lobby versus upstairs in the mezzanine.
You call me?
And they said, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take all the bar, we're going to split the tips equally across all the points of sale.
Maroon red.
And I said, when is that bartender coming from the mezzanine down to the lobby? And they
Why
said,
you call me a
"You'll never."
moron?
I said, "So you're telling me I'm doing 3
It's a
times the amount of work, and you're telling me
It's
it's
a
because I can
maroon.
handle it, and
This
now
is
I'm going
this
to
is
make
the
less
problem.
money?"
Like the way
Now,
I
I was
speak,
able to walk
like,
out on that
What a
because I have
maroon.
this position.
no, like
Would I have
the
done that
way
if I
I
wasn't working here?
pronounce,
No. I would
like
have suffered
it's
in
they
silence. I
have
would have
some
bitched about
hard
it
or
with my
soft.
coworkers who felt like they were getting ripped off there too. Most people stayed. And by the way, they do well enough to where they're doing well enough. But it was like, this is essentially a socialism idea here, and you're literally telling me you're doing it because that person cannot handle the volume down there. There's a reason why people do make good money when they're doing a job like that. There's a reason why sometimes you will tip really well. Like, dude, that server's really good. They care. Like, I can't tell you how many times people came back to the bar and I would have their drinks ready for me. Like, so 3 Miller Lights and this and this and this, and she wants this, right? Oh my God, how did you remember that? It's my job to remember. Are you kidding me? My job is to make sure you have fun while you're watching these idiots play. You paid $300 for these tickets. It's my job to get you drunk enough to where you forget that. You know what I mean? Come on in, baby. Let's have a good time. And like, that's how you end up making your money. I don't think it's the way most people feel about their tip position right now. I don't think most people who are working for tips are walking out with $400, $500, $600 a night in shifts. And I just don't think that's the reality. And so I think there is going to become a different road by this year. Semis, they're getting ready. They're ready. Then we're going to have more driverless pizzas coming to your house too, and you can bet on that.
I mean, like that kind of trap sweetheart that you have. What's this?
Pass out that $1,000 key. Those you
Yeah, I think to save my money for a month, I'll be able to drive it after I put gas in it.
The word woke has been dragged.
What?
I said, yeah, and if I save my money for a month, maybe I'll be able to afford to put gas in it.
I stopped using that term
expensive too.
years ago.
Do you think how much
Because
that
it just started to not mean anything anymore.
the truck?
And everything we didn't like, it became woke. And it's like, that's not what that is, right? And I also remember saying at the beginning of it all, like, I'm actually woke, not this new
5,000?
BS version we got now.
You can buy that on 5,000.
No.
It's about consumerism.
Even like
It's about
secondhand?
all of these other things, and like, let's make these
If you're
people
lucky,
fight.
but
Let's
it's out.
get over here, and like that's what being awake really was like noticing
Trucks
that
over
we're
here
cogs in
have
the
a high
machine.
resale value.
None of us matter, right? It's been kind of
You're
dragged
not
into
going to
something
get a
else.
chunky one for under
And I
$1,000.
think early it was from a good place, and then once you get people involved and stuff,
One like
then it's
that, you're looking
right.
at
That's kind of
about
how that goes.
50 to
And I don't like
50,000 and
using the
above.
term anymore because it just sounds like you're a complaint. You're the kind of person who complains about everything. So I try to complain about things that people don't like, that they call woke, and try to get us into another side of the conversation. Right? It doesn't always work, but that's how I try to approach it. I don't really like that term because it just sounds like
The museum we
it just
went
sounds like
to
a crime.
a while back with
Like, it
all the
really
trains.
does.
And
Right?
That one?
that's
Jerry Seinfeld's now called
vegetable market,
Yeah,
right?
the
wants to
fresh
watch
market.
it.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, he said the movie business is over, and I think what he means is most of the celebrities are online
just
now.
the
They're not
flea
movie
market.
stars, and with
that's
that, he's
basically
kind
the
of right.
same thing.
But we're talking about TV. He's blaming the extreme
Really?
left and
Oh, I'm
PC
gonna ask
crap
for
on why you're not
some
seeing
article.
great sitcoms on television. Daily dose of it in the
Explain me a
21st
lot
century,
about
especially in
segregation.
2024, he says.
Wow, they're spending money.
What most people would do is come home, turn on the TV, wind down at night, look at something funny, and they don't have it now.
They're paying a lot.
He says, you know, you used to be able to rely on coming home, turning on the TV, and just having a little bit